Well, a few weeks ago, the nation held its breath. 130 students whose mission was to learn disappeared, taken away from classrooms and their families. Now the waiting period is finally over for Nigerians, of course, and the people of Papiri, Niger State, as the 130 students abducted are now released. Joy and relief are palpable in the air as families reunite with their loved ones. However, the question lingering on everyone's mind right now is what next for these students and their families? Well, Nigeria Today will be going down memory lane regarding the story of their release, the challenges and the hopes for the future. Indeed, it's a heartwarming story of rescue and reunion on Nigeria Today. I am Mina Daniels. Thank you for joining us. Join me, make welcome Dr. Sadiq Hassan, security and strategic expert, who is here to discuss the issue at hand with me. It's a pleasure to have you join us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
All right, we will be expecting Dr. Yahuza Getso, another security expert, to join us soon. But while we're at it, let me just start immediately with Dr. Sadiq. All right, Dr. Said, how did you even receive the news of that abduction when it happened? I mean, the entire 250, people, students and teachers.
Well, the news when it came to us as an expert is not new, based on our trend and the reality of our insecurity generally, because security ideally is supposed to be for proactive, not retroactive. Certain things in terms of kidnapping element has not been properly put in place over time. So when this happened, we expected. And despite that, we still expect, except when those things are now put in place, then we can say for now, we might not expect such things.
So how significant is the release of these remaining 130 students in Niger State, especially for Niger State and the country at large?
Yes. When I heard the news that those has been released, I'm happy. Very, very on one point, because of the families, which is the key. Because you send your children to go to school and they are minor and they are kidnapped. Being a father, a mother, the feel, it is when it has not happened to you, you don't know how it is. This is one part that I'm happy. Then secondly, for entire nations at large, that okay, despite all our challenges, we can overcome it, and both international community. Because at the few weeks when this thing happened, it's also at the verge where we're having issue with the big country, America, where there was a threat from the President of America, Donald Trump, how he decided to move on into the nations if the needful is not done. So by this again, it also shows that the government and the armed forces are ready to do the needful. So these are things that, like I said, as an expert, I have to feel that, oh, okay, if this thing is working,
Okay, from a security, perspective, as a security expert as well, what story does this release, of these students tell as it is right now?
it goes a long way. It shows our schools are not safe. If the schools are not safe, how your citizens, your children, how do you be able to impact on human capital development? Because for you to go to the space, you must go to school and have the prerequisite knowledge and everything, and it started from the beginning. So this is where the government has to take security as key. Apart from that, security and economy goes together. If your nation is not safe, how do you do the business? For over many years ago, when our insecurity challenges, it affected our economy. If we'll be able to put all this in place, you could see the prosperity in it. In fact, in agriculture, most especially in terms of the kind of quantum tons of cash crop we're supposed to produce and agricultural value chain. So we are losing a lot.
All right, thank you so much. At this point, let me warmly welcome Dr. Yahuza Getzel, another security expert. We'll be expecting you. Thank you for finally joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So let me now come to you. Let me get your perspective as a security expert. What story does this release of 100 students, tell us?
Well, it has revealed the commitment of the government. It has revealed as a response of the government on the cries of everybody in the nation. Because it is not only the parents, everybody is responsible. Because when it's something that has to do with the young children, the pupils, so the level of commitment and determination. Sometimes back, the few were released and everybody was thinking, what happened? That some part of the kids have been released and yet the others cannot be released. And it is a message to each and every one of us that entirely we need to look at our school security architecture in general, right from the nursery school, the primary school, the secondary school, the tertiary institutions. How much have we been imputing in the name of Safe School Initiative? Looking at that amount of money that have been spent over time, and we're still having recurrence and reoccurrence of what is called school abduction. What's really going wrong? And many of the security experts has been saying that those who are committing these atrocities are known, their locations are known, and they are not in any hideout. So, but we appreciate the government and the commitment of all the security agencies who worked assiduously and ensure the release of the abducted children.
Dr. Yahuza, talking about hideouts, what do you say about location of schools? I mean, what should really, come to mind? What should we put in mind when situating, schools?
Well, I think we need to be very, very careful in looking into this. It has nothing to do with the location. Schools can be located in any part of Nigeria. It is about managing our spaces. It is about understanding and synchronizing or improving on our security capacity. It is all about improving in the commitment on how we do things. It has nothing to do with the location. Schools can be located in any location, but we need to look at what are the fragility, security fragility, and what plan do we have? We shouldn't be waiting always until when things happen, then we start asking questions. We should have answers to those questions. Government is the primary responsibility is to provide life for security and property. Security for lives and property. It's not segmented only to a given location. All locations, we have 3 borders: air border, marine border, and land border. What efforts have we put in place? Because some of these schools were initiated by the colonial masters. Are we saying that whatever has been invested by the state government, by the federal government, by the TED Fund, and all those who have been investing in the schools, it is now that we start thinking of why do we allocate school A to a location B, and so on and so forth? And mark you, many of these abductors, those who are committing these atrocities, 99.9% of them are Nigerians. And they live within the space of Nigeria. They operate within the space of Nigeria. So we have to take control. We shouldn't allow somebody to come into our territory and make decisions. We shouldn't allow non-state actors to do and undo. We have the capacity, we have the ability, we have the agility, and we have the equipment. If we don't have it, let's look inward. Who are really responsible for providing what? And why have they not been able to provide that whatever? And as they abducted the children, where do they take the children? Have they taken the children to a space of another state or still within the space of Nigeria? Those who have been communicating with them up to the time when the release has been confirmed, are they using different than MTN, different than Glo, different than Airtel, different than 9Mobile, or they are using the same communication procedure, the same communication protocols, the same communication providers? If that is the case, why do we have, when somebody sends a message, ordinary message on social media, we easily get that person arrested and apprehended within less than 12 hours, 24 hours or so? So what have we been doing? And looking into the affairs of these guys and their network, if care is not taken, if Nigerian government, if Nigerians, if we cannot sit to our responsibility, if we cannot have a responsible government and we cannot hold people accountable for their responsibilities and based on assignment assigned to them, Nigeria is going to be in a more dangerous havoc than what is obtainable. We are not praying for that.
I love your energy, Dr. Yahuza, right now. Please use that energy to answer me this question because it's important now. You know that most Nigerians actually were very passionate about this very story and they followed it, very closely. So what general factors would you say helped in the prompt release of the students?
Well, there are different factors. One, the pressure from the international community, the pressure from the U.S. government specific, and the pressure from the general public, and also the pressure from the parents, the teachers and parents. It is also, there is also factor of the determination of Mr. President, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for which in between this has prompted him to have come off and make a declaration of state of emergency on security in the country. Okay. So these are some part of the factors. There may be many other factors, but these are the major factors that one can easily look into.
Okay. Dr. Sadiq,
yes.
Let me come to you. What roles, those intelligence gathering, you are an intelligence expert, a security expert, so what roles does intelligence gathering and interagency cooperation play in solving cases of this nature?
In fact, it is the first point line in security because security is supposed to be proactive. First of all, before the kidnapping, there should be intelligence-related informations on the basis of activities within the school's premises, what happened before such things happen. Because those who committed such things did not just come there at the blue and do certain things. They ought to have a surveillance where they look at it. If they now come here, what will happen? Where at the entrance? How will they exist? Where is the route? Who is going to be available? What is the security arrangement within the school premises? So intelligence gathering and synergy is key. And once suspicious activities is being taking place, this is where the intelligence will now come in. This is where the synergy will now come in. I give you a typical example. If the DSS, who are mostly responsible in terms of gathering informations and gave it back to either the police, the civil defense, the army, and all that, what action did they do immediately? So this is where the synergy now come. At what time prompt did they now release the informations based on what they gathered? At what point those who are supposed to be the front line in taking actions? This is how, at the end of the day, you could see they'll be able to prevent such an actions.
Okay, Dr. Yahuza, taking a cue from Dr. Sadiq, you talked about, identifying non-state actors. Whose job is it really? And how do people begin to take notice of strangers, strange movements, strange activities within their vicinity?
Thank you for this question. It is high time for us to advocate, to sensitize, to mobilize, to educate, to enlighten, to propagate the need for all hands to be on deck. It is the responsibility of all, not really the responsibility of the military, not really the responsibility of Mr. President or rather the Minister of Defense or any other person within the security cycle or within the management of the government, affairs of the government in the country. Now, it is high time for us to ask people, do you even know who is your neighbor? That is one. It is high time to ask the school managements. When I say schools, I'm referring to all the schools in the country. Do you have social mapping of where your school is in terms of identifying the crimes and criminality and criminal records? Do you have the relationship with immediate defenders? When I say immediate defenders, I'm referring to police, I'm referring to DSS, I'm referring to civil defense, I'm referring to vigilante, I'm referring to all the formal and non-formal security sectors. I'm asking the school management. I don't need an answer. If you don't have an answer, you should answer yourself. Yeah. If you have it, please update it. And each and every individual in Nigeria should be able to know who is your neighbor. Your neighbor at work, your neighbor where you reside, your neighbor in school, and so on. You should even try to understand when you are dropping children in your school. Try to identify who are the parents and relate. It is high time that Nigerians should stop behaving, I am a big man, I don't need Mr. A, I don't need Mr. B. So it is necessary for us to, by this, the next thing is we should know who is a stranger on the road, who is the stranger around the school. And the school guards, as well as the community, the host communities, where all schools are, should be able to know that if this school is vulnerable in terms of security, we are vulnerable. If we work assiduously with the school management, with the Ministry of Education, with the supervisors, with inspectors, we should be able to work harmoniously in order to serve as intelligence source, as information source, in order to assist the management of the school, the security of the school, and to identify issues and key in on how to bring all the dependents around. And at the same time, monthly review meeting that is taking place on monthly basis at 774 local governments. It is high time and very necessary for us to incorporate all the school managers, both private and and the public. And at the same time, to have on the notice board update security and social security mapping of the area, so that parents will now take the school's management very serious.
Yeah, but Dr. Yahuza, what about technology? I mean, at what point, what can technology do to help?
Well, you know, technology is expensive, but it's simple. There is need to improvise to have surveillance tools everywhere. But surveillance can be classified into both technology and human. So part of what I have discussed is part of the tools, the human tools that can be used. At the same time, schools should improvise to find a strategic and systematic approach of providing a CCTV around. And by extension, there should be inward monitors and outward monitors. What I mean by inward monitors, if you have a CCTV, the zonal inspection unit, the Ministry of Education, the LEA authority should have somebody who will have access to be random sampling and checking every now and then, not only the school management. And also to some extent, some parents can be entrusted, especially under the leadership of the Parent Teachers Association. So the leadership of the parents should be able to also have access to those surveillance tools. It may not be easily delivered, but all the schools in Nigeria and the federal government should start thinking of improvising and providing surveillance technological aspect, providing technology by providing surveillance tools in each and every corner. But remember, I said all hands must be on deck. Okay. So it shouldn't be only the responsibility of the government or the school managers. Okay. The neighborhood of the schools, try as much as you can to install CCTV for your own safety and to also help in fast-tracking the movement and activities of the strangers around the area. We must be able to know our neighbors and know who are the strangers and improve the relationship on how we transmit information into the cycle of intelligence.
All right. Well said, Dr. Yahuza Sadiq. What do you say about, as a continuation going forward, what immediate measures should be taken to better, secure vulnerable communities, and school environments?
Yes, it is very interesting for us to have technology. Globally today, you have a lot of simplest and wireless technology. The camera he mentions can be put in school, where it can be in a very tall tower. Then even the monitor might not be there. From even police, defense, whatever you call, they can also to monitor it. 2, the state government has not been able to invest, I'm saying it categorically, into the security of the schools. What do I mean? A lot of schools today go and check where they're located. They don't have what we call a simple perimeter fence that's supposed to cordon the place with some security measure on the fence, whereby the gate is well fixed. It is not even easy for you to easily cross the gate, because every school that have been located, you have your security post. What time do you lock it? What time do you open it? Especially the schools that are boarding schools. Go and check it. Most of the state government in Nigeria today has not really done anything. And I've said this several times, that most of these challenges we are seeing is supposed to be 70% state matters. And the current administration has deemed fit a lot of money allocations are going to the state. What did they do with such money? But because they feel that they will tell you, but they are chief security, they don't have the control of the police, the army, and all that. On that basis, then they just off their hand. No. How do we be able to trace this banditry and recover these children? There are states who are using today hunters. Go after them, which means that is offensive capability. Each state should be able to look at it, that look, how do we have a hunter that are monitored with police as a backup, where they go after these people? Because most of these people are in the forest. The hunters, their way, everything is in the forest. When they too know that there are people who are after them, they will, in fact, they will take off. So at that time, intelligent, such everything will come together. State must stand and take responsibility.
He did mention something about communication, the use of MTN, Glo, and all of that. Do you think, we're, doing well at using our communication channels to track some of these crimes?
In fact, it is even a failure on the part of the government and even national security, that despite the money the government has spent today, we couldn't be able to track a simple
because there were calls.
Because there were calls. How did they negotiate? Yes. Where is this number? As we are here in the studio, if I say certain things today against Mr. President, today or against the nations, in 24 hours I'll be tracked and I'll be get what happened. That these people, they negotiate, at what time they call, where is the locations of where they negotiated from, where did they keep the children. That is why some of us who are an expert, we just sit down and look at it and say, look, this is like a game playing. Yes.
All right. So how does this release impact the overall, security situation in Niger State and its surroundings?
Yes, it has shown that, yes, these things are possible. It is not from rocket science. America did not come to help us while these children were being recovered. International community did not come directly. American foot soldiers are not here, but it is still within. We shows there are elements of people within the Nigeria and within the security sector who does not want this to come to an end for personal gain. So this is where the president must not negotiate anything security. We must take it seriously. As I've said earlier, if your country is not safe, who will do business with you? Today we are losing a lot in terms of if we take only agricultural aspect of it. Most of the farmers cannot go to their farm. Imagine the quantums on Niger State usually before are the highest beans producing in Nigeria, but the highest market is in Kano. So today, what is the level of beans that they produce in Niger State? Which means the Niger State is losing a lot in terms of agricultural produce, which ties to the economy.
Okay, we'll just have a minute. So you're going to, be very fast about this, Dr. Yahuza. So what psychological effects can, such experience have on students, and how should authorities support their reintegration? Just a few minutes.
Well, it has very high level of psychological effects in terms of trauma, in terms of they have been exposed to environments that they are not supposed to. They have been exposed to arms that they are not supposed to go after. So the best way to manage it is, first of all, to have a psychologist for rehabilitation, and also parental guidance. And also the government need to do something as quickly as possible in order to support the parent on that.
Okay. On a final note,
yes,
what lessons should security agencies learn from this Papari, incident, and a word to parents who are scared, as it is right now, to send their children to school, given the situation?
Yes, the intelligent community should now be proactive than retroactive. Okay. Then from the parents, I should do what I call thanks for coming to school, a way of psychology to bring them back, where coming back to school, it is good for you than to stay at home because of insecurity.
All right. It's been quite a fruitful deliberation, I must say. And this is where we will stop for today. But first of all, let me appreciate Dr. Sadiq Hassan, security and strategic expert. Thank you so much for coming on board.
Thank you for having me.
And Dr. Yahuza Getso, also security expert. Thank you for your insights. All right, and to you, our viewer out there, thank you so much for always being part of this. Remember, the program Nigeria Today airs weekdays at 7:30 p.m. on NTA News 24. You can also watch a repeat at 10 o'clock in the night, as well as other episodes on www.youtube.com/NTA News 24 Hub. I am Mina Daniels. Enjoy the rest of your day.